Hello and welcome to Restoring Our American Republic. I'm Chuck Benoit with The Nature of Things, where we are realigning God, government, and natural law so that we might restore our American Republic. There's a serious split in the RPOF, the Republican Party of Florida. It's been there for a long time, but seems to be widening here in Lake County and, quite frankly, across the Florida. The essence, in my opinion, is highlighted in rule number 1 of the RPOF's rules of procedure. There are 2 points made in rule number 1, part A. I'm going to read a little bit here, but no person or group of persons may use the name, abbreviation, or symbols of the Republican Party in connection with any club, group, association, or organization of any kind unless approval and permission have been given by the RPOF. And it goes on. The Florida Republican Assembly had been deemed to have violated this section. And in a lawsuit recently adjudicated, the FRA was determined not to be in violation of anything. It was not trying to be a club under the auspices of the RPOF. However, the same lawsuit gave the RPOF the right to use Part A, Paragraph 2, which reads, no member of the state executive committee or of the county executive committee may be a member or officer of any organization that has been deemed by the RPOF chairman to be in violation of the restrictions, et cetera, et cetera. So although the FRA was not lawfully in violation of anything, the RPOF still could cancel the membership of any person that was associated with the FRA, and that is what the RPOF did. The above referenced split is between the leadership of the RPOF and the right wing of the Republican Party, whom the FRA is comprised of. That is, those of us who expect Republicans to govern as though we are a republic. That means governing for the average person, not special interests. You can't be a Republican and not govern for the people. And you are not governing as a republic if you're governing for special interests. It's as simple as that. This morning we have a guest, Bob Valenta. Bob, welcome to our show. You can
Thanks,
say
Chuck.
hello.
Glad to be here.
Bob is the president of the Lee County Republican Assembly and a candidate for the state president of the FRA. And before we get too far, welcome, Mike. How are you doing this morning?
Great, gentlemen. Thanks. It's a pleasure to be on with you guys today.
Super. Well, we're going to start right off the bat with a little bit of an intro on the FRA. So if you give me just a minute, I'm going to start a little video.
To the pines, freedom runs through these lines. Grassroots are rising hand in hand. FRA will guard this land. They said our fire should fade away, but we're burning brighter every day. With faith and truth we'll light the way. This is the FRA. Stand tall. Let the people hear you say we are the voice that won't be chained by party bosses or their games. Stand tall. FRA. Where the patriots find their way. your voice, the freedom shout, stand tall. FRA. Where the patriots find their way, Florida strong, forever free. FRA. It's the place to be. Stand tall. Hear the call.
So there we go.
That's powerful, huh? I love
So
it.
Crazy, crazy.
I want to
So
point out that video was a cooperation between several of us in Lee County and Osceola County. Tom Lord from Osceola did the video, and our own Bridget Fagan here in Lee County made that music. That is obviously original music created. And I bring this up because it's a big part of my campaign. There's a reason why I'm mentioning them and bringing them. I don't. A lot of times leaders stand on other people's shoulders to appear tall, and that's not how I operate. I throw people up on my shoulders to make them tall, and by doing that, the whole organization becomes taller. Everyone. And so
Totally
that's
agree.
a very important part of our entire platform. I've spoken to Mike and everyone else about that, and that is a big part for everyone on our slate. And you know, we are running as a slate, even though technically we're all elected individually, but we are a good team, and I think we'll make it an incredibly strong team of champions for bottom up.
Chuck?
there you go. There you go. Well, let's kind of build a little bit anyway. You are currently the president of the Lee County FRA, and is anything exciting happening over there in Lee County? Anybody getting thrown out of the REC or anything?
I wouldn't know. If you go to my REC and you go to sign in, there's a piece of paper next to the sign in sheet with my name at the top. It's a list of names. Do not admit, call the police. True story.
Is that
Well, at our REC, they just call the police in advance. So the police are there when you get there. And then if your name's on the list, then the police meet you at the door and tell you that you're not allowed inside, which is exactly what happened to me. Not last night. We had an REC meeting last night and I was allowed in the room, but the previous meeting, I was not. I was met by 4 Florida Highway Patrol officers who let me know that it wouldn't be pleasant if I attempted to go inside. Right? So, Chuck,
Mike, I've got you beat, because even before they
Oh.
started doing this tomfoolery, our REC attempted to entrap me in a felony
well,
by physically accosting me and then trying to say that I accosted them.
okay.
Was
Well,
that
I mean,
me?
just to remain competitive, Bob.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
sent a letter to our Republican Executive Committee chairman, who happens to be a state representative, Taylor Yarkowski. And my letter just gave him a couple of reasons why he should resign. Okay. One of the reasons was he just lost a $7 million judgment. He just received a $7 million judgment from a court because he damaged his previous business partners. Okay, so long story short, $7 million judgment. Okay, the court rendered a $7 million judgment against him for bad behavior. And then it surfaced that, which he does not deny, and there's actual text messages where he admits that his previous wife, he's married now, but he did not assault his existing wife, who was the previous wife, but she signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and he paid her a significant sum of money not to disclose that he beat her up on multiple occasions, requiring hospitalization. Okay. So I just put that into the letter that said, look, your behavior doesn't bode well on Republicans in the state of Florida. So we don't want you to be the chairman of the party anymore, because this is all public record. This is on social media. This is recorded in court cases. So for these reasons, we just don't think that you're the standard bearer for the Lake County Republican Party. So, and here's my point. He called his friends at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and filed a criminal complaint against me for extortion. Okay? So what do you got that beats that, Bob?
How long is this show?
That's great. Chuck, get involved here.
Yeah, well, just thought I'd let you guys duke it out there.
So, okay, Chuck. No, Chuck. Tell Bob and the audience what you said at the meeting last night with your 1 minute introduction.
Yeah, well, I wish I had it right in
Just
front of me.
tell them what you said, because your point is very well made, Chuck. That point needs to be made. So please do it.
Okay, well, to the best of my recollection, and it probably will be more than 60 seconds because it was timed out. I basically started with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and I mentioned that that was the left, the national left's attempt to silence the conservative right. And then I went to the RPOF and rule number 1, as I was chatting about this morning, and said that that is the attempt of the RPOF to silence the right wing of the Republican Party here in Florida. Okay, and I went then to the attack on Mike Levine from Chairman Yarkowski, and said that that was an attack on the right wing of Lake County Republicans, and then acknowledged that anybody who's good with that cannot be considered a Republican. Because Republicans are for the people, and the FRA is, I think I brought the FRA in at that point, being a voice of the people, the Republican religious right. And then, of course, I asked Chairman Yarkowski to stop with the lawfare against Mike Levine.
And then you made an analogy.
Yeah, that anybody that was that what's going on in the Republican Party is no different than what's going on nationally. It's just the Republican Party attacking the right wing of the Republican Party, and instead of the left wing. And the only difference really is the bullet between.
There you go. I'm telling you something, Bob. That's where we are. Okay, they're going to send law enforcement against you. All the lawfare that we watched against the Trump administration between 2021 and 2024 is playing out locally. They're trying to arrest us, right? Yep. Law enforcement is telling us with absolutely no legitimate charge that they will punch you in the face, put you on the ground, handcuff your hands behind your back, put you in a squad car. And I'll tell you right now, they tried to muscle Anthony Sabatini out of the room last night, to which, and of course, Anthony's really careful because getting arrested is a big deal. Last month, when I was banned from the meeting, Anthony was banned from the meeting also, and Anthony chose not to get arrested last month. But this month, when the same lieutenant was trying to throw Anthony out of the meeting last night, Anthony said, "You're going to have to arrest me." And they did not accommodate. They did not arrest him. So when their backs against, because they know what they're doing is wrong. And this is law enforcement, Bob.
Yep.
So you have the floor, Bob.
Wow, a lot to unpack in that.
So this is what we're up. So my point is this: everything but the bullet. That's what Chuck said.
Right.
Chuck said the only thing different to what happened to Charlie Kirk and what's happening to us is the bullet. And I think that is a very profound and accurate analogy. Thank you, Chuck Benoit, for making it. And then, Chuck, I'll turn it over to you so you can get us back on track. Bob, let Chuck.
Okay.
Let Chuck steer us in the right direction
I'm
here.
looking for a track, gentlemen. We are all over the place here.
Okay, so let me get us back on track. So, Bob, when you get elected to be the president of the Florida Republican Assembly statewide, what are your objectives for the organization?
So my number one objective, and this isn't talking the talk, this is walking the walk, because we literally operate this way in Lee County, is to return it to a true bottom-up organization. We need the bulk of the power should reside in what I would call the executive committee, but our bylaws call the board of directors, which is the 3 people from each county. That is where the power should reside, in a round table, kind of like King Arthur's court, but without the king. And then we, the board, work for that executive committee. They should be the ones to elect us. They should be the ones to direct us, and then we go and carry out what we've all discussed. And everyone on the board will be on those meetings and be able to chime in. So it's not like they're just taking orders. They're a part of that same process. If we don't return to that, then the counties are nothing but whipping boys for the king. And we cannot have this model. This is what we're fighting from the RPOF and the RECs.
I get it.
Why do we want to follow into that?
No, I totally get it. And again, I think that all of us on this video, on this live stream, have seen enough to know that every bureaucracy, Bob, evolves to this. Go to the Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yeah, it's human nature.
People gravitate to the Chamber of Commerce because they want to get leads for their business. But the board of directors sucks up all the leads, and the rank and file members never get any leads. Right. I'm a realtor, right? So go to the Florida Realtor Association, okay? And they're one of the strongest lobbying organizations in the state, in the country. But they don't poll their members to figure out what their members want from a public policy standpoint. You follow me? They tell the members what's good for them. Yep. And it's so amazing, right? Because, realtors are like just lemmings. They just follow right off the freaking cliff. So if we tell you, if the leadership of the Realtor Association tells you that it's really important that we have a advanced diversity, equity, inclusion program, we just say yes, 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 yes. Okay. So I'll get into that later if we have some time, because I don't want to spend our time on that. We're here to learn more, about what your plans are for the FRA and all that stuff. And I totally agree with you. And I've been beating this drum for quite a while, and I know you have too. So let's see if Chuck has something to say about it, or if he has a direction for us to go.
Yeah, let me try to throw something else up here. I wasn't sure how well I could get this into the screen, but this is your board. This is your group here, Bob. The people that you're liking to be in the candidates. You're a candidate for FRA president, and then you have Robin Lum for Vice President 1, Brian Kennedy for Vice President 2, Tom Lord for Secretary, Cindy Trotz for Treasurer, R.C. Williams for Chaplain, Rick Carlins, we know Rick, he's from our community, for National Director 1, and Mike Levine for National Director 2. Mike, you didn't tell me that you were looking for that.
I did tell you, Chuck, and you weren't listening.
Oh, that's right, this morning, right?
Yeah. There's one quick correction to that is just developing, is that Robin Lum and Brian Kennedy have agreed to swap VP1 and VP2. So it's a minor point, but they'll still both be candidates. The FRA is trying to find a way to disqualify Robin Lum, and he feels that if they do succeed, that it would be better if he were the VP2 pick, and it would be less disruptive to our slate. So that's the kind of man that Robin Lum is.
That's awesome.
He's not the kind of man that Lou and John Ward are going around and telling people, that he should be removed from the FRA because he's I don't know. He illegally closed his county chapter last year when the FRA leadership were deer in the headlights with the RPOF attack. They sat there just doing nothing, not knowing what to do, and Robin acted, and he did what needed to be done. And I would argue that many of us looked at Robin's case as, you know, I don't want to call him a savior, but I mean, he was the man stepping up to do what we all wanted to do, and maybe financially we couldn't or what have you, but he did it, you know.
The word is champion. He's a champion.
Champion. There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, just to make sure we're all, because you know, we get chit-chatting like this, and we're down to our final 7 or so minutes, and I just want to make sure we center in these last few minutes on the message, Bob, that you really want us to hear. What is going to change if you become president of the FRA?
Bottom up, baby. Going to be bottom up. Okay. I'm a servant leader, and our entire board will be servant leaders. Things will be discussed at the regular meetings. The board of directors / executive directors or executive committee will decide how frequently they want to meet. If they want to meet monthly, we'll do monthly. If they want to do every 2 months, if they want to do quarterly. I like quarterly plus as needed. That's my opinion.
Okay.
That's it.
Mike.
Okay. So, you know, for me personally, I want to do everything I can to make the grassroots voice competitive with the establishment voice, because we're outgunned. Okay. That's the number one deal. We're outgunned. So my point to you would be this, like, for example, some organizations, I'm going to talk generally now, most organizations, when we go into legislative session, we have maybe a lobbyist or some kind of a political expert that chairs our legislative affairs committee. And then we have a small group of people who try to analyze the 840 bills that can possibly be submitted through the Florida House. And, you know, 7 bills times 120 state reps equals 840 bills, plus whatever comes out of committee and whatever comes out of the governor's office, et cetera, right? So, you know, you're looking at 1,000 bills roughly, and a small group of people is not capable of reading and effectively analyzing all that legislation. We can get into, you know, when does legislation become viable and that kind of thing. But my point to you is this, that I believe that grassroots organizations who empower their members and charge their membership in the counties with the responsibility of vetting all of the legislation that their legislative delegation sponsors. Now you've got the ability to literally understand every piece of legislation that gets filed into the Florida legislature, supporting, Bob, your bottom up rationale for why bottom up works better. More hands makes work easier. So instead of having a small legislative affairs group, every single chapter in every single county is analyzing the legislation that's sponsored by their delegation. They get to know their legislators well, their strengths, weaknesses, what's going on behind the scenes with their own legislator. And then when you lobby Tallahassee, you have what the realtors call a key contact. And those key contacts come from the counties, and the counties actually present the legislation in front of the organizing committee, who prioritizes what's going to be on your legislative priorities. And Bob, just see if that matches up, you know, with what you're attempting to accomplish.
I couldn't have said it better.
There you go.
When these volunteers, these members of the counties, are donating so much of their time and other resources, do you really think that they want to be voluntold, or do they want to volunteer? Do they want to be dictated to? Thou shalt, you know, wear striped shirts on rainy Thursdays. There's too much push for authoritarianism from the one top of a peak system that does not work. It may work in the military. It may work in a private corporation where I own a company that employs 50 employees. what I say goes, right? But at a volunteer organization, that's not the case. It's got to be bottom up. It will always collapse. The RPOF currently is the perfect model to show that this will collapse.
Chuck?
Yeah, well, we're doing pretty good, I guess, and we've been all over the. I kind of thought we would talk a little bit more about what's happening on the more local scale. Nationally, where are we going nationally? I mean, there's some national positions in there. Uh, did
Locally,
you
I
say
do
there
have
was?
one announcement.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Locally, I do have one announcement. As
Okay,
of yesterday, Lee County Assembly passed its resolution to rename Summerlin Boulevard Charlie Kirk Boulevard.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
we will be sending that on to the county commissioners, who laughed at me when I texted them that we were doing this, and I said, no, this isn't a joke. This is serious. So now we're gonna have that battle. Unfortunately, we don't have any Anthony Sabatinis on our county commission.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
but
Anthony
perhaps
did a
we need to
good
get
job for
some.
us. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, that's good.
It's interesting.
And
Oh, and we also, earlier this year, we got rid of fluoride in Lee County out of the water. And then
That's awesome.
and then we pushed the legislature to do it statewide and got that done. It was literally a month worth of work. That's it. That's what you can do when you put your heads together.
super.
An engaged citizenry.
Yep.
What would
I love
change on
it.
the national level? I guess we have a couple of national, Rick and Mike. Mike, you're here. Would anything change at the national level if you were to get the national director #2?
Well, it's interesting. And over my entire professional career, I've always been kind of amazed how powerful the state of Florida is in every industry. I mean, even, I don't, pick a organization, but the state of Florida is really powerful at the national level pretty much all the time. So the things we're talking about doing in Florida, that Bob is advancing in Florida, we would encourage to advance federally, right, across all the states. And, again, um, just like Robin was the champion who did the right thing in Osceola County and led the FRA in their fight against what the Republican Party of Florida is attempting to do to the FRA. Florida champions those causes into this national organization and encourages and demonstrates that victory is achievable at a national level. And then we're able to influence Congress and the executive branch as to what should be happening there. And that's a matter of what you and I were doing last night, Chuck, at the Republican Executive Committee, which means we're going into the meeting with an agenda. We know exactly what we're trying to accomplish. We have action plans to actually get these things done. And then we incorporate those plans and demonstrate to other people. That's called leadership. That's what Charlie Kirk did, by the way. I mean, bring the people who disagree with me to the front of the line. That's what should be happening. And, I believe that, I think I love Bob's platform, and I believe that it's achievable at the national level. And when we do that, we'll get our country back, Chuck.
Well, it is hard to believe, but our time is up. Bob, if you don't mind giving us just a couple of minutes, round up for today. Final thoughts.
Yeah, again, we desperately need to right this ship and get it so that every county can have an equal voice at FRA, so that we can get FRA pointed up to national and get national in line. Not that national's out of line, just but that we need to keep things going in that direction. So
Sure,
And,
building upon what was done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Final
and there
thoughts,
are some-
Mike.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that, basically, it's interesting that I think Stephen Miller's comments at Charlie Kirk's memorial were very poignant. He said, we build. We're the people that build. You are the people that destroy. So as we're in these organizations, we have to continuously evolve, building on what we did last year and just consistently growing and getting, and especially with technology, Chuck, as we pointed out many times, this is why you and I do this live stream to demonstrate to the grassroots that with technology, we can in fact dominate the conversation. And this is what we're doing. We're building, we're not destroying. We're growing, we're empowering the grassroots, which is the foundation on which this country was built. And we have a leader like Bob Valenta here who's willing to do that at the FRA. And I'm in support of that, Chuck.
Great. Well, thank you, Bob, and thank you, Mike. And thanks again to all you who are tuning in to our twice weekly live stream. Please follow us on Facebook at Restoring Our American Republic, or check us out on YouTube at Restoring Our American Republic -ROAR. Like and share the program, please. And remember, if you're unwilling to govern yourself, you will be governed by tyrants. So until next time, God bless you. God bless President Donald J. Trump. And God bless America.